93% of surveyed businesses increased their visibility and control after upgrading to NetSuite. Over 28,000 businesses already use NetSuite. Head to netsuite.com/wolf for a special one-of-a-kind financing offer. That's netsuite.com/wolf, netsuite.com/wolf. All right, Rudy, good to see you. How's everything?
Yeah, it's good to be here, man. Good.
All right, so how would you describe yourself? I know you do a lot of stuff.
Sure.
You do like coaching, you offer courses.
Yep.
You've been a CEO. So how would you describe yourself?
Yeah, I think like a lot of people like me, you figure out how to sell a product, make money online. I started selling at 10 years old, and then you learn to become a CEO and an entrepreneur. So, I manage 300 employees now across companies. I have 90 of my own. So it's that transition from marketer and side hustle entrepreneur to like actually running a real company and building culture, teams, SOPs, all of that sort of stuff. So, but still known as like a marketing guy, right? The Facebook ad guy, spending a lot there. So it's that transition from marketer to entrepreneur and CEO.
So how do you see the landscape now and compared to the way it was a couple of years ago in terms of before Apple made the changes?
Yep.
Is it still every bit as good as it was,
Yep.
or is it not quite as explosive?
Yeah, I would say the front end, like making the sales and running ads, is less like explosive these days, but we're bigger than ever, spending more than ever. Same for my clients. And the secret, which I teach a lot, is you got to make all the money after day one, right? So we turn a $50 customer right now into a $500 customer. So even if we spend $100 to make the sale and we're at 50% return, we're making 10x on the back end.
Right.
And that's the thing that $1 billion brands do. I always teach, how many times does anyone buy one product from Apple?
Right.
No one, ever, right? They spend 20, 30, 40, 50 grand, and that's what you have to do online.
So do you have a certain system for that? So how does that work?
Yeah, so we take, customers, and then it's basically monetizing and keeping that customer as long as you can and helping them as much as you can through services, right? So same model I do for myself, hundreds of clients, like I shared with you, Mike Tyson and some big celebrities, is taking the customer and then generally a phone call as soon as you can, because then you can personalize whatever that person needs based on all your array of products and services. And one thing that's super important is a really high ticket, right? So we go from, say, $50, and the most you can spend with me is $150,000. So, and some people go from $50 to $150,000, and then the eventuality after that is some people give me equity in their companies, which is $1 million deals.
Right.
So most companies don't have that array of products on the back end, and that's why they can't scale.
So what would be an example? Like, so you go from $50, like a front load is just like a tripwire thing.
Yep.
Or, so what would that typically be?
Yeah, so anything. I do it I have real estate clients. It could be like a 7-day find your first Airbnb challenge, right? Or it could be, for me, it's a 7-day Facebook ad course, or for you, a 7-day sales challenge, right? How to sell your first high ticket offer in 7 days, right? They buy that, they go through that challenge, that 7 days. And then a certain percent, normally 5 to 10% of them, are going to want to pay 5 to 25 grand to now work with you and your team more personally, to learn high ticket sales, to maybe get a job, to build out their own sales business, whatever that is. And the maths are real simple. I was kind of going through this for Mike Tyson earlier. As long as you get about 5% to upgrade, you'll always be able to scale successfully. That's the sweet spot. 5 to 10%. Jump to a big offer and you can scale pretty fast.
Got it. So, so when you were building your own business, so like there were certain, besides just being a marketing, there's obviously the rules of just building a business, right? So what are the things that you look for in terms of when you're like coaching people or building your own business? What are the sort of the primary rules for this?
Yeah, I mean, my goal is always to be big, and I left the UK, and my goal is to be a billionaire. And I have studied a lot of billionaires and big billion-dollar companies. And I would say the 3 biggest things is creativity, it's building a team, right? And it's your network. Because a lot of problems, like especially going from 10 to 100 million, it's not how, it's who. And if you have the network, you always have the answer to that question. So for me as a marketer, it was getting really good at building teams. Like we do 150 interviews a week right now, 600 interviews a month.
Interviews for employees?
Yeah.
What type of employees?
So copywriters, tech, design, marketers, sales reps, appointment setters, operations managers, video editors. So like anything, with an online basis, we're always looking for a talent. And I'm a big believer, if you find quality people, they'll always pay for themselves.
Got it.
Yeah. So I think the talent's a really big one that most entrepreneurs miss. And that's why most don't, especially online, they don't get to 10 million because they get to a few million themselves, but then going to 10 million and 20 and 30 is all about team systems, KPIs, operations. Yeah.
So what about like the business itself? Are there certain types of businesses that you see scale better than others? Like, like for example, what are the things that you look for in a business?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually big part of it is that part I just said about the lifetime value, right?
Right, but I mean, like in terms of there's certain industries, like for example, I mean, I understand that you can look at any business and say, yeah, you got to make money, you know, over the long term, not just for one shot deal, right? That's pretty obvious. But I mean, like in terms of like, are there certain types of businesses that lend themselves to scaling while others don't?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a business where I always teach with online marketing, if you can line 100 people up and more than 10 are interested in your product and service, you've got a scalable offer that can do tens of millions, right? Because if you line 100 people up and only 1 in 100 is interested, it's niche, and niche can be good sometimes, but if you want to make $100 million, niche is hard. So I like broader offers where like a good percent of the population knows what it is, right? Makeup, supplements, health, dating, nutrition. People are genuinely interested in making money, sales, right? So some broadness, but then within the broadness, you have to create uniqueness, and that's what most people miss. So that's really important. The ability to sell it and fulfill it online is a bonus, whether it's coaching, education, or if it's fulfillment, like supplements, you've got a logistics partner or a company that can just get it done. So you can worry about growing the business and sales versus the logistics side.
Right.
Really big. I think those two most people miss because they go super niche and then they don't know how to go broader when they want to scale past that.
What about like traditional like businesses? Like, I mean, you're speaking mostly like you're talking about like things like nutritional supplements and how to or biz op.
Yeah.
What about like for example, you used to work for a friend of mine, Alex Mayer, right?
Yep.
Where it's like sort of traditional, more like, you know, his model was finding brands that used to sell through stores that didn't update quick enough or transition to online, right? But it was like real products. Like there was like, you know, consumer products, dresses. So what about that stuff? Like, do you think is that sort of like an exception to the rule with someone like who's selling real products? Is it mostly information? Or?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Like e-commerce is, I mean, super hot. And we have a ton of clients that sell t-shirts, dresses, clothing, shoes, right? But the key difference there is creating uniqueness again, right? Because if you sell a boring dress and everyone's selling a boring dress, it's hard to sell a boring dress. If you can display the boring dress on a model and it's a great ad and it's 20 seconds and you know how to market it, that's your competitive advantage. And that was a lot of our theses behind buying these brands. We took our marketing skills that some of the best marketers in the world that have done hundreds of millions of dollars online, apply that to a US brand that's super well known, and that gives us the uniqueness to scale, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, normal businesses, I was helping someone the other day, they paid and joined our mastermind, and they sell manure, like to farmers. And my team are like, how are we going to sell this? And I'm like, it's easy. Get him in a suit in the middle of his big pile of shit, pop out and say, we sell the best shit on the internet. It's all creativeness, right? It's one of those 3 things I said, and you turn a very boring offer, right, selling farming supplies, manure, right, and you make it fun.
So for example, what do you look for? So when you're out there, if you're going to start your own business, right? Like, I think one of the things I've found over the years is certain businesses that are great up to like $5 million, 10, like they're not really meant to be big businesses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, all the time. A lot of our members.
So it's like people like they try to scale what I get. Not that it's unscalable, but it's just not meant to be scale. Like, so what are the things like when you're like in your own, when you're choosing for yourself, like what are you looking at in terms of a business that you think really makes it scalable? Like there's something about like the industry or competition or like, you know, in international markets.
Yeah. I mean, it's all of those, right? The ability to expand. is it being done at a grand scale, right? Because it's always harder to try and educate a customer that they need this thing versus if someone's already educated them that they need this thing, it's easier for you to come on top and sell. So a great example is like when all the teeth whitening strips came out. If you're the first one, right, that's trying to educate on these, it's harder. You need venture capital or a bunch of money and to blow it. But if you're the second or third one, they just spent $1 billion in funding to educate the whole world on teeth whitening strips. And now you just come in, sell a better product, better service, or a better price, or more creative ads. And they've already paid to educate, and now you're just taking all the cream off the top. So that's important. I think, like we said, a lot of them, they're too small and niche, right? And they're thinking too small a lot of the time. A lot of the time it's mindset of the entrepreneur too, right? Like how do you I want to go big and I want to be a billionaire. So I don't care about anything that doesn't make me a few million. If it makes me less than a few million, like my team doesn't even bring it to me because they get in trouble.
2000, 2008, 2020. Listen, when it comes to the economy, those are some pretty scary years. .com crash, housing crash, and the roller coaster we're going through right now. One thing is certain, it's a dangerous time to not know your numbers. But over 31,000 businesses have the confidence and the clarity they need because they rely on NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, inventory, HR, planning, and budgeting so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Everything you need all in one place. So, how do you prepare for uncertain times? The answer, NetSuite. NetSuite helps you identify rising costs, automate your business processes, and easily see where to save money. That's why 93% of customers say they improved their visibility and their control when they upgraded to NetSuite. What are you waiting for? Right now, NetSuite is offering a one-of-a-kind flexible finance program. Head to netsuite.com/wolf right now. That's netsuite.com/wolf. That's netsuite.com/wolf.
You know?
How about you? So you're from England, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about your upbringing.
Sure. So I didn't come from money at all, but my mom and dad were Olympic athletes or pro athletes.
What kind of athletes?
Triathlon. So
wow.
background, yeah. So my dad was the Great Britain team manager for 3 Olympic Games, and my mom won a gold medal in age group triathlon. So
what was that age group meaning?
Before the Olympics, it was like independent races before. So
Okay.
she won a gold medal there, and my dad was the Great Britain team manager for 3 Olympic Games. So I got to travel the world as a kid and see that anything was achievable, right? And that was my greatest gift. Like I've realized is I didn't come from money. I helped pay, their lifestyle now because they're retired. They don't have much money, but I got to travel and see. I always was different. I always wanted to do more. I was always buying and selling. I was the kid I got banned from selling in school at 10 years old, started eBaying at 11 years old, buying and selling. So for me, it was just that. Be different, think big, and I left England because everyone's miserable there and they hate money. I love money, so I was
Is that it's interesting you say that because like one of the things I notice about the United States is that we don't resent people that try to make money. It's very rare around the world. Like in countries like England's bad, but I think Australia is even worse. Where like there's tall poppy syndrome where like they just like, oh yeah, good luck. And then if you get too big, they just want to destroy you, right? So what do you think about like in terms of like how much of that you think is responsible for the United States being such a vibrant economy?
I mean, it's massive. Like I left England because of that reason. Like in England, if you wanted to be a millionaire or talked about money, you're a bad person, right? You're like literally, especially outside of London. I
had this conversation with my wife this morning, by the way. She's Argentinian. And she was saying to me, like, we were with some, she was like, don't talk about money. I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, we don't talk about money in Argentina. It's like, it's because you're full fucking broke, right? And she's from a wealthy family, but many people, like, it's considered taboo there. So in England, essentially, it's considered like, gauche. It's like, right? Is it like, I never got though. I just watched The Crown. Have you seen The Crown, right? I never fucking got it. Like, what is the obsession? Like, to me, it's like the biggest scam ever, royalty. Like, what? So just because they're born into a family makes them have privilege? I don't get it at all. Like, why? How do they get away with that?
Yeah, I got no idea. Like, I stay out of all that, right? Like, I agree. There's people obsessed with the royalty
But
side.
what is it you think? You grew up in it. Like,
It's like a legacy thing, right? And I think it's what people attach themselves to because they don't have their own thing to attach themselves to, right? That's what I've learned with a lot about politics and royalty.
Right.
And it's like me and you and entrepreneurs, we're so clear on our vision and our goals, and we're so focused on us, we're growing, right? But a lot of people, they don't have that, sadly, especially in England. That's why I left, because I'm a big believer in who you're around with, the energy of the room, who pushes you, right? And if everyone else is kind of pulling you back, it's a bad place to be. So I'm like, I got to get out of here. And I knew I could make more in America.
How old were you when you left?
25. But I had been planning to leave by 20. It was just hard with a visa and stuff. So
how'd you work that out, the visa?
So I got a degree, grew a big fitness business there, came out here, did a master's degree, made my professor $1 million in the year as a master's student. And then I got really high up in fitness, which was my background.
What type of fitness in what sense?
Just like fitness nutrition, fitness coaching. So I had 100,000 people on my fitness products, a $19 product teaching sports science, fitness, how to lose weight. That's like how I learned all the funnels, ads, and marketing, because my parents were sports. So I grew up in sport and fitness. And then I got a visa out here for business, and now I got married and got a green card. So that was my journey, right? So typical journey. But yeah, I don't rarely go back now. I fly all my family out here. And my operations manager, he's actually one of them is based in England. I have a lot of employees in England and Europe and a lot here. And he always uses a good analogy. He says, in England, if you get a Lamborghini, they want to scratch it. Here, they want to take photos with it. So it's good.
It's true, by the way.
Yep.
So you left there at the age of 25? Mm-hmm. And so you went to your graduate school here?
Yeah, went to Tampa, University of Tampa, grad school there, and then went straight into my own business. As soon as I graduated, 18 months, I had done $1 million and then did a few $1 million. Then I loved entrepreneurship. I loved business. So I went full in on marketing and business and left fitness. And and then I partnered with Ty Lopez. We did an agency, and then that left to Rev and me working there, running all the marketing, then becoming co-CEO with Ty and, working with Ty and Alex every day. And here I am today, right? It's the evolution. But all of that wouldn't have been possible if I lived in a small town in England. I would have never met the guys.
Where in England? Where are you from in England?
Leicester, Nottingham, like in the Midlands, near Birmingham and stuff. So
I've been to Birmingham.
Yeah, it's near there. Yeah. So, I mean, back there, you make $100,000 a year, drive a Range Rover, you're a baller, right? You're a millionaire. That's how people see it. Right. Whereas here, $100,000 a year, you can't do shit.
Right.
Sadly.
Got it. So, So when did you? So the current business that you're in right now is basically you sell. Is it primarily marketing courses?
Yeah. So we have like a holding company where we sell marketing courses. We teach companies how to grow online, but the whole goal is to help them progress. We take equity in companies, and then we obviously have a celebrity division where we run all the celebrity side too.
Have you ever had any of these companies where the problem with taking equity sometimes is that it doesn't really amount to anything unless it gets big enough.
I give it back.
Right,
So 2 deals already this year.
Yeah.
Gave back. But 2 deals I 4X and they want to sell in another year. And, one company will probably sell and I'll get $5-10 million for. Another one probably the same. And then, I mean, as my reputation gets bigger, my ability gets bigger as a marketer, my team gets bigger, you take bigger pieces of equity.
What's your biggest frustration when you're dealing with when you're young, but still, but your experience, when you're, because I've obviously been in this similar business for a long time, right? And there's certain things that after a while you see the same patterns repeat themselves when you're trying to coach people, right? What are the things that you see, the mistakes that where you'll give people advice they just don't follow? That's one obvious thing. But what are the things that you find that where you'll say, here's how you should do it, and for some reason people just can't do it that way? Is there certain things like that you see repeating themselves?
Yeah, great question. And it's very similar to fitness, right? It's like the bodybuilder that has a 6-pack, the new person that signs up that wants to be like that, and then they realize that they've got to diet every day, train every day, sleep well, and it's like they want to shortcut that, and they want to know how to shortcut it. And I'm all about shortcutting success and collapsing time, but there's a certain part of it that you can't, right? You have to pay your dues, you have to fail 100 times, you have to fire the bad employees, you have to get stolen, the money gets stolen from you, and you have to go through the BS, right, to get there. And I mean, a lot of them, when they realize that's the path, they start ping-ponging around, right? And every 2 months they're doing a new project, or they're doing a new partnership, or trying a new business, and then it doesn't amount to anything eventually. So it's the best entrepreneurs in the world, especially the billionaires, there's a combination of like aggressive speed, I think, and like execution, speed, big vision, but also patience. And that's like a fine balance.
Got it.
Yeah.
So like when you're dealing with mostly young entrepreneurs?
Yeah, mix. I mean, yeah, mix. But we get a lot, because I'm 31, so I get a lot 20 to 30 that want to grow like I did, achieve what I achieved. But, we have $100 million companies where the CEO is 50, 60, and he's trying to get his marketing team in order too, right? So.
Right. What about in terms of delegating authority?
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a tough one, right? It's hard. We're at 90 employees now, and I manage 300 employees. It's something, if you want to achieve like 100 million, you have no choice, right? Or even 10 million. So I learned that at an early age, right? And you have to realize two things. They're only ever going to do it 80% right if you're lucky, and you want 100%. You have to learn to accept that. And you have to learn to accept what you could do with one person, you probably need 5 to 10 people to do, because you're special, right? And that's why you're the entrepreneur.
What about, so like, are you a believer in like the systems themselves? Like in terms of like, the importance of the system itself being really, really, intuitive and user friendly. It's an old saying. Warren Buffett's got a great saying. Like, when I buy a company or invest in a company, I want to make sure the systems are so awesome that even an idiot can run them, because sooner or later one will, right? So the idea is how important is it, you think, in the businesses themselves, like that they have systems? Like I think what I'm driving at here is like sometimes people delegate, but they delegate like kind of a half-baked system to someone.
Yep.
They don't set them up for success.
Well,
they say, right? Then they get oh shit, I'm never delegating again, when the mistake was actually they delegated before they had something 100%. That was really delegatable, if that's a word.
Well, and we're the worst as entrepreneurs to do that, right? And then if you become a CEO, you learn that, right? So like great example is I knew that early on. Like we're visionaries normally, right? We're visionaries. We move fast. We're impatient. We have an idea. We want it live tomorrow. And we're like, why is it not done perfect, right? So you have to work around all of that. And like, I'm not perfect by any means. It's work in progress every day. But I hired 2 operations people from like billion-dollar firms, right, that ran operations in big major corporate America or UK corporate, because I wanted to add that level of systems accountability to a scrappy entrepreneur that's go. So that was important. So that's one big thing, is hire good operations people, because you as an entrepreneur, you're visionary, you want stuff to come to life. But we always say that, like, I run around in my business like a Tasmanian devil, and they pick up the pieces behind me, right? And you need those people to pick up the pieces. But yeah, we have crazy good systems. I think you need to match systems operations with agility, right? That's the best entrepreneurs. Like Elon Musk can move fast, but he also has a team behind him building the systems and building the rocket ship so it doesn't blow up in space. Right.
Right. Let's get in depth into marketing, right? Sure. That's your really. So if let's just say, do you have sort of like a series of steps that you go through when you're looking at company comes to you and say,
yep.
I want to, do you work with companies just and do their marketing?
Yeah, we have a done-for-you agency side that I built many years ago that runs without me. And then we have more like a bigger, more scalable consulting side where, because I've learned, like, if you come in and consult and it's kind of like you can give someone a fish or can keep giving them a fish, I would sooner teach them to fish eventually too. Right. So we have the done-for-you side, and then we have like the done-with-you side where we try and teach them to fish eventually so they can keep growing.
So what's the first step you'd say, like in a successful, is So you're a believer Facebook is still the center of online advertising?
I think it's a great platform if you know how to manipulate it and work with it and like play in its world, right? That's the thing. And I think there's a big need for it still with a lot of companies, so I don't think you should ignore it. You've just got to learn to play within its game. And then it's the same with you. Like, they all work well together and they work differently depending on the product you're selling.
It's really weird, like, because, like, you know, everyone's like, oh, no one's on Facebook anymore. But like, I use Facebook and I have a company. One of my companies, unrelated to my core business, is pretty much cut and tied depending on Facebook ads. And then if these people, oh, no one's on Facebook, well, someone's on Facebook still, right? So in other words, like, what do you think Facebook really represents? Is it still, you look as the powerhouse? You know, people are just love to bash it. Like, how do you compare it to TikTok, compare it to Instagram? Like, like, it depends on the product, I guess, or
yeah, it's still the daddy, I think, right? Like, those other platforms are great to add on. For some businesses, they could maybe be better, but Facebook is still the easiest to launch. It's the easiest to get live. It's the easiest to get proof of concept, test your product, start getting customers. Now, is the tracking great? No, but you can get third-party platforms that fix that. Is the compliance easy? No, but you can learn the compliance, and touch wood, I've been good for years because I understand what I can do and I can't do. And we still have thousands of students doing well on Facebook. So I think it's the same. It's all mindset, right? It's a mindset. If you get banned or you say Facebook's crap, it's like you just got to take emotion out of it and look at it and go, is it a good fit for my business, my product, my service, what I'm trying to achieve now? If not, great. But some of the times the answer is yes. And then the emotional entrepreneur gets in the way of themselves and they're like, screw Facebook. And it's like, you're just losing hundreds of customers a day that are still on Facebook. And because it owns Instagram, it does have that big age category, right? So it's got Facebook and Instagram. It has that broad age category.
What about YouTube? Do you use YouTube at all?
Yeah, YouTube's great. I think YouTube is like harder to get going, but then more sustainable. Facebook's a little more like you can get ads live tomorrow and get sales. YouTube, you got more time testing. You got to do good video creatives. So they both have their place, right? Again, it's not like one's better, one's worse. People all the time say only do this. I'm like, you don't get business. No one like that's a billionaire says only do this, right? It's like learning all the tools, all the resources, and knowing when it's a good fit, when it's not a good fit. That's what makes a good entrepreneur. So,
and what about TikTok?
TikTok's up and coming for sure. Like e-com's starting to do well on TikTok. Lead generation's doing really well on TikTok. Within the next year, I think a lot of platforms will do well on TikTok. And it's like Facebook in the early days. There'll be a couple of years where it's like good, cheaper, and then it will probably get like Facebook. It's just it seems to be like the continuation of all of them.
So how do you, when you're starting an ad campaign, what's the first thing that you look for?
Yeah, so it actually starts before the ad campaign. The biggest mistake every entrepreneur makes, I always teach, the ads are easy if you do the other stuff right, okay? And that's where everyone goes wrong. They throw up an ad, and it's like, I always teach, it's like opening a restaurant on South Beach, but if the restaurant looks like shit, the sign's broke, it's got terrible reviews, and it doesn't look good, and the menu sucks, how many customers are you going to get? It doesn't matter, right? They're going to go to all the other places. So it starts before the ad. And if you get that part right, the restaurant or the ad will crush it, right? So you got to have irresistible offer, eye-catching ads. You've got to have some big promise or some big, I worked with a client today, paid me $50,000 to work with me one-on-one. And the biggest thing is he's selling like oil, right? Like health oils, olive oil and stuff. I'm like, you need to label yourself, if you believe this and it's true, the world's healthiest oil, right? And you need something that grabs their attention. And that's like, okay, now he gets it, right? Now his ads will start working. Now people will click it because now they're interested. What's this world? And then I said, here's the headline to use on the ads. Have you tried the world's healthiest oil? I said, all the health nuts out there are going to be like, what is this? I need to know it, right? Because they're obsessed. So but it starts before the ad. A lot of it's psychology, sales, persuasion, good copywriting and understanding those parts. And creative, I'm super creative with like ad ideas, ad images. That's always what's made me successful.
All right, so anyone not know what that is? That's another sale on Shopify, the platform trusted by me and millions of other entrepreneurs to create their online store and so much more. That's right, even my website is with Shopify. Whether you're selling succulents or stilettos, start selling with Shopify and join the platform simplifying commerce for millions of businesses worldwide. Shopify covers all the sales channels to successfully grow your business, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform, even across social media platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And thanks to 24/7, this is important by the way, support and free on-demand business courses, Shopify is here to help you succeed every step of the way. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/wolf. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/wolf to start selling online today. Shopify.com/wolf. And how about just the placing of how important is the placing, the targeting? Not very important anymore?
Over the years, Facebook's made it more and more and more simple. Because if you're Mark Zuckerberg, what do you want as Facebook? You want it so simple that every small business in the world can run their own ads. You just want to make money, right? Facebook 5 years ago, you had to hire an agency. That's a terrible business model for Mark, because now his whole success is based on agencies.
Right.
So they, as Facebook, went, how do we make this so simple that everyone can launch their own ads? Because that means more ad spend, more money for him. So over the years, it's got easier and easier and easier to run the ads. The hard part still is the psychology, the sales system, the funnels, like the design, the copy, and then being creative with your ads. And then look, eventually when you're spending 10 grand a day, there is a skill set behind how to scale it and manage it. But to start, you got to put all your attention in the offer and the creativeness behind the offer, the promise, the ads, the video. And then if you get that right, you could do your own ads. Everyone could do their own ads.
So do you have like a formula that you use? Like when you're looking at, like you gave me some examples that were just like smart creatives. Oh, let's have a guy come out in a suit and we'll polish it. But like, is there some sort of formula like that you put clients to, okay, if you wanna, here's how you create a great ad. It's like there's some way that you go about doing this. It's more formulaic.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to create formulas around creativity, right? But it's more, I would say it's more guidelines, right? It's like, I always say to them, if you saw your own ad or I saw your ad and knew nothing about it, would I click it? 99% of the time, the answer is no. So that's the big problem, right? So it's reverse engineering. What is the unique selling point, right? I always teach that. So if you've got an offer, you've got a product, what makes you unique? If you don't have one, figure out one, make one up, right? Like, as long as it's ethical, don't lie, but figure out what makes it unique, what's going to make people click. Then it's about creating a ton of different creatives around it. And then it's testing all those creatives. And one thing I've not talked about today, which is big for me, is the data, right? Like, we have a whole data scientist. We have 15 pages of data dashboards, because the data gives you all the answers, right? So it's not what you think is going to work, it's what actually works. So once we have all those launched, we're tracking best click-through rate, best cost per click, like what's getting the engagement. And then I teach something like, I call it the tree trunk method. So it's like, you got your winner, and then you create branches off. Right, so if the best ad in the world was him popping out and saying this is the best shit on the internet, make it a static image now. Now get a hot blonde popping out and doing the same. Now do it as a meme, right? And now you see what I mean? Like, you're taking a winning concept and creating all these variations, and that's how you scale. So don't know if that helps answer that question.
Yeah, no, it does. I guess like what I think a lot of people have problems with when they small business owners is that I think you're right. Like, the days of always going to agencies. I've hired in the past. They always kind of suck, most of them. You know, they don't really deliver, and it's a lot of over promising. And
I have an agency. I say we're a Band-Aid. We're gonna come in, help build stuff out, Band-Aid the wound, but eventually you got to fix the wound, run your own business. No one. I always say I own an agency. I say no one's waking up and caring about your business more than you. The second person after that's your employees, and then way after that's an agency. Right.
So when you say, so in some level, I think what you're saying is that so the ad is more important than the targeting. Like, you're saying Facebook is targeting for you these days? Is that really what's happening?
Yeah, some of our ads, a lot of our campaigns, we don't even do targeting now. Or it's so simple.
Alex introduced me to the whole idea of non-targeted ads.
Yep. Yep.
some retargeting afterwards.
Yeah.
But in terms of like just one, just all people in the United States, and Facebook finds the right people for you,
especially
right?
if you're a broader offer, right? If you're weight loss, dating, money, like the 100-person rule, I always use with my students, right? Line up 100 people. If a lot of them are interested in making money, having love or finding love or dating or sex or getting healthier or fitter, right? You don't need much targeting because Facebook will figure that out. But what you do need, because the problem there is millions of people, there's millions of personal trainers, right?
Right.
So what you do need is you need to create something that makes you stand out.
So it's more about the ad itself,
Exactly.
making some unique selling proposition, whatever value proposition, right?
100%. If you get that right, the rest will take care of itself. If you don't get that right, you can hire 20 agencies in the world and none of them will help.
So what would you say your unique value proposition is?
I think big part's the creative, right? Being that super creative and teaching people how to think that way. And then it's like creating the systems around that to scale to tens of millions of dollars, because there's a lot of good entrepreneurs in the world. Most don't get past 10 million. Like I've done that with my own businesses and bigger businesses that I've ran. And there's a difference between being a good entrepreneur to make a few million versus building a real business. So it's the creativeness as a marketer, but then turning it into a real business, I think.
Do you think that the people under the age of, let's say, 30 right now, do you see this idea that they have a lack of work ethic, or is that true, or is it overblown? What do you think? Is it, you're just over 30, but there's this notion out there, right, which could be true, could be false. I want to know your opinion. Is that like, all these millennials or Generation Z, whatever they are, right? They, what is it called now? Just X, whatever the fuck it is, right? People in their 20s, right? Yeah. They're so fucking entitled and lazy and fucking snowflakes. Sure. Is that true, or is it a case where there's some very squeaky wheels yelling on Twitter and people are getting a bad rap when, because my experience, I know a lot of really hardworking kids in their 20s. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's like you can stereotype anyone, right? It's like there's some really great entrepreneurs and people we hire that are under 30, and then there's some that aren't. I would say probably like, because we hire hundreds of people and I work with hundreds of people, I think people are a little softer these days, right? It's like people complain and cry about stuff, and I'm like, hey, 100 years ago you were in a war. Your life's not that bad. Like, get on with your shit, Right. So I do think there's a part there that's like, oh, we said something offensive, or you didn't get the time. I'm like, come on, like this isn't that bad, So I think there's definitely more of that in society maybe these days, but that generation didn't grow up. Like, I'm different, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur. I get shit done. I don't care about other people like giving me a heart. I'm in my lane. I'm doing my thing, right? I don't let other people affect me. I don't like negativity. I get on with things. Some people let it absorb them. So I think that's a bigger problem these days. I think work ethic, there's some people in their 40s, 50s that aren't very good at working and very lazy too. So yeah, I don't think that's a problem. I do think that people get offended much easier these days, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I think it's just that the problem is that everyone's got a voice these days. It used to be like if you were, so this was a whining, complaining, just no one would even listen. Yeah. Now it's almost, you have no choice but to listen because everyone's so vocal about it.
Well, and hiring a lot of employees, you learn that with HR laws, right? We have an HR director and an attorney, and it's like some of the things these days, you're like, really? That's a thing? Okay.
So what's your personal goals like for you? So you want to be a billionaire?
I want to, I mean, like.
Why?
Because
it doesn't suck, right? Yeah.
I was put on this world to win. Why would I, I always say, people ask me why, I'm like, does any NBA player go in the NBA and not want to be the best? Any athlete?
What would you do with $1 billion?
Well, so for me, the money is freedom, right? Money is freedom. I'm a big believer of that. You can fix your problems with a lot of money or help fix a lot of problems. But for me, it's a marker of impact. So like it's a financial marker of impact as well. So if I'm a billionaire, I actually can help change the world or make the world a better place or help people achieve success in their life, right? Like for me, I realize that you can create whatever you want in your own life, but most people don't understand that and accept that. So I want to help the world understand that they're in control of their life. And if they want success and they want to be happy, they can be that. If they want to be miserable, they can be miserable.
Like, what about like in your own personal shit? Like, do you want a jet? Do you want a yacht? Do you care about that stuff?
Cool. That's cool stuff. Yeah, I like that
fun,
stuff.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you want a yacht?
Yeah, of course. I want all that shit. Yeah, for sure.
Do you like material things?
Yeah, 100%.
Does your wife?
Yeah, I think she wouldn't complain, right? Like, she's very.
I mean, I just think I think there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No.
I think that there's nothing to be shy about.
No,
right?
No,
Like, I fucking love money.
Yeah, I love all that stuff.
I love spending money.
Yeah, I never want to be controlled by money. That's the number one thing. I never want to have to look at a price tag, say no, sit in a shitty airport and the flight's delayed 10 times, or if I want to go and have fun out here on the ocean, I don't want to line up in a freaking line for a boat and then have a 2-hour discussion about health and safety. I want to get on the yacht and do whatever I want to do and then get off the yacht when I want to get off the yacht.
Right.
So a lot of it links back to like the freedom, right? The experiences, the freedom, not having to be controlled. Because as an entrepreneur, I do whatever everyone says. Rudy does what Rudy wants to do. That's like a saying with my wife and my team.
Right.
Right.
What type of customers are you looking to attract? Like, who's your perfect customer?
Yeah, business owners that are like, they've got some product or success. They're doing 20 grand a month, 50 grand a month, million a month, whatever it is, right? But they're actually selling and they want to they want to 10x that, right? They want to go to 10 million a month, 20 million a month, 50 million a month, 100 million a month. So for us, we help a lot of customers grow if they've already got some idea of success. And now it's like, how do I 10 or 100x this? We give them all the marketing tools, we give them the mindset, and then we give them the team and the systems and how to hire and build teams. Because that's where most people get stuck, under 5 million. If you look at the stats, not many people become millionaires, but then a hell of a lot more never get to 5 or 10 million, right? So I think, I've not built $1 billion business yet, so I'm not teaching that stuff, but I've built $10 million companies. I've ran $100 million companies. So somewhere in that sweet spot around the marketing, I can help and teach.
Cool. So how does someone find out more about you? What's the best way to kind of get into your system?
Yeah, we've not talked about it yet, but I'm famous for the red, right? So
really?
my Instagram, my ads, the red became famous. So our office is like 10,000 square foot.
Red?
Every staff member, they're not allowed in the front door if they're not in red or white. And the theme's red. And it just became this big attention grabbing thing that we started one day. And, my whole like kind of play.
Let me see your Instagram. So like,
I'll get my phone.
Yeah, Marshall. What would it be? Let's see.
I'll show you Rudy Mawer Life. So RUDY. But for me, it's like the play on the matrix. You have the blue pill, red pill.
Yeah. Hold on. So what is it?
RUDY. DY more.
RUDY.
And then MAWER life.
DY. Got it.
So it's all the red, yeah.
How'd the red thing start?
It started like with an idea of, I wanted to grab attention. I wanted to kind of, the whole thing around my life is living different, right? Play on the matrix, have the blue pill or the red pill kind of thing. So I wanted to live different. I've always been different. I think you can live different. It was my favorite color. It grabs attention. And then we started doing like $50K, $1 million deals from the red. People were buying our stuff, giving us 50 grand. They said, I didn't know who you was, but I saw this red ad and this amazing setup. So I had to buy it. The branding was on point. You knew what you were doing in the ad, right? And then we did a couple of $1 million deals from the red by itself. So at one point with a team, I'm like, hey, we're going all in. This is enough signs on the wall at this point. We're going all in. And now it's like this crazy thing. The office, 10,000 square foot red office, all the staff in red. My new book will be, themed around it and my personal brand.
Oh, you're writing a book?
Yeah. For me, it's kind of the whole story, right? I left England with nothing because I had this belief that you can do anything you want in life, and I think other people should feel that, right? Like,
I'm just finishing a book myself.
Nice. What?
On how to invest in the stock market.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I think
Are you a publisher or you self-publishing?
Publishing. Yeah.
You're self-publishing?
No, publishing.
Oh, who's publishing?
So it's a smaller company, but the idea is they'll do all the promotion, the marketing, so I can be hands off, right?
Yeah, good for you.
For me, that I don't need to make money off the book. It's more legacy, right? I want to help reach more people, help more people, and obviously that helps.
And what's the name of the book?
The Red Life.
And when is it coming out?
Probably January is the planned date if we get it all done in time. January, February.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Have you finished writing it yet?
No, halfway.
Oh my God.
So yeah, we'll be pushing.
Oh wow, I'm not gonna differ. So mine is much more of a structured.
Yeah.
It's like a big. It's like this. It's very slow. I think the book business really interests me. So, I've turned in my pseudo first draft.
Yep.
Like a week and a half ago, after like spending 7 torturous months writing this book. Like I hate writing more than anything in the world, but I wrote this book because I thought it was important.
Yeah.
And then, but now it'll first go through like probably 3 edits, and then by the time I think it's scheduled to be released in June, actually.
Yeah, but that for you is like that's your big book.
It's a big Simon and Schuster. It's like a serious launch for them. But I think it's important. The reason I want to talk is I think it's important for someone like you or anyone else. Like, I think books still really matter for building brands and for establishing credibility, for it's a great lead magnet. Also, just to sort of, I think it's depending on. So, is yours a life story, like a memoir, or more a business book?
A bit of business. It's a bit of mindset business with marketing pulled in, right? Because I created everything I created from learning how to sell online, but also the mindset that I could do everything. So I want to tie those two together. But for me, it's a little more like, quick, faster book that we can use for customers, send to customers. People can learn more about me. And like my legacy book will be like in a few years, I think, when I can do.
I think when you really when you're looking, so I went into this backwards by writing a book and I just want everything happened from there. But I think when you're really looking to write a book that you should probably take more, like
100%.
really sit down and represents who you are. How do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, Instagram, Rudy Mawer Life.
So it's RUDYMAWER LIFE, Rudy Mawer Life.
Yep. And then, they Google me and find all our websites, our businesses. And if they want help growing marketing, we're here to
And there's one product that you have, what would that to recommend? Like, what's the first product that you say is like the linchpin product someone should buy before they...
Yeah, we have a bunch, we have $97 courses on we'll build some ads and help structure their ads. We'll teach them how to build funnels, marketing. So we have a lot of core products there, and then they can, jump on a call with my team and we can see how we can help them more. So we have done for you ads, done for you funnels, all $97, crazy low price, right? Because it's our big irresistible offer.
You political at all? No,
I stay in my I'm a control freak. So unless I'm president, I'm not political.
You like living in Florida though? You like the governor?
I mean, for sure. It's freedom, right? That's freedom for me is so key, and being in control. And Florida's good for that, right? I guess that's why. There you go. One of the reasons you came here.
Certainly, more tax efficient place and freedom efficient place where, especially. I think it's some of the edge is. It disappeared, at least for now, not taxes, but in terms of, the COVID lockdowns. I mean, that was just insane. I left California. I was like, I can't stay here ananymore. I never know when they're going to lock it down again. I just don't want that. I used to have a business. My business was running. I had 20 people in my house, because I was scared to open an office because I didn't know when they're going to shut the offices down. So
well, here's getting good too. Miami's getting a good hub of entrepreneurs,
totally
people, right?
It's
so
totally.
We've been tempted to get a place down here and do.
Miami's is a great entrepreneurial hub. And I think it's going to continue to attract people like that over the short term.
Even Tampa's growing a little smaller, but it's growing. It's getting some good people.
All right, so listen, everyone, Rudy Mawer, check it out. All I could say is I know he's worked with a very close friend of mine Alex, who I massive respect for. He told me you're a sharp guy and that your stuff is awesome. So check out his stuff at Rudy Mawer Life and share this with your friends. Listen, I think personally that every person under the age of 30, seriously, you should have at least some little side hustle, if not something way to make money besides just a 9-to-5 job. I really believe that, and I think that anything you could do to increase your knowledge base on how to start a business, how to market a product, I think is money well spent. How to close, obviously. So check it out and share this with your friends, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.